Hi, you made it back. I'm glad you're here. Today we're going to be coloring the honey jar and trying to figure out how to color white. Well, the page is white, but how do you color white? For me, it's not as easy as it looks, so we're going to give a good attempt today. Now, if you're new here, welcome. What you might want to do is go to my website and grab this PDF and the color chart, and then watch the two videos where we color the apples and the basket. All of those are listed in the description box below. And then meet us back here as we color the honey jar and figure out white. So are you ready? Let's go. Okay, let's start with the scary stuff first, the white. I'm going to start putting some white in there. Now, in real life, white isn't truly white. It's got some other colors in there. So just want to put a base of white in there, and then we're going to add some highlights. Well, not too many highlights, though. Highlights are going to be white, but the shadows to make it look more like a realistic white. So let's fill in all this. Now this up here, I want it to look more like a linen. So I'm going to add just a little bit of brown to kind of pull that out. Now we're going to have to go in really light layers and figure this out slowly, because we don't want to put a lot of color in there and then have it really screwed up, and then there's no way to fix it. Next, I am going to take my beige and kind of put it just around in here. Now I've tried different techniques of, using black or just a plain brown, and it always kind of looked dirty to me. I'm hoping that this new technique I found is going to work a little better to make it look more like linen. Once again, this is the beige that we used in the basket. Look at it right in here. Now for the shadows and the little tucks in here, we're going to use an indigo blue. Kind of just lightly go along these tucks. You're wondering, why is she using indigo blue? You'll see in a minute. Hopefully it's magic, I don't know. We're going to have a little bit of shadow in here. Just put this wherever you think there might be some shadows. Keep it light. You can always add more later. Now we're going to go in with some medium brown. Prismacolor calls it light umber, but it's more of a medium brown. And we're going to go right over the blue and do that lightly too. Like I said, we can always add more later. Now as we're putting the brown over the indigo, you can see it's kind of turning a black. Not as deep as if you use the black pencil. Make sure you cover the indigo. I'm going to go in with a little more indigo in here. It's looking too brown. And add some more shading in here. Now I might want to put just a little bit in here to kind of emphasize the lid. Okay, and now I'm going to go back over with the medium brown to blend together with that blue I added. Let's give that a shot. Grab our blender pencil and blend that together. Okay, let's go on with some white here. Actually, that's not looking too bad. It's kind of a white linen cloth top with shadows. Now what's really going to make this pop more white is we're going to color in that string red to match the apples. So exactly like the apples, we're going to need our light green and our red. And for the light green, remember that was used for the shadows? We're going to put shadow in here, some shadow in here, maybe a little bit around the knot here. So down here on this knot, just put your green in where you think your shadow should go. If they're not dark enough, we can always add more later. Okay, let's go ahead and add the red. Okay, I'm having some problems getting into some of these little nooks and crannies, so I'm going to do my famous trick of flipping the page upside down. Okay, let's just keep adding the red and fill in all these spots here. Okay, I'm going to add some more green for shadows. And some more red. Just keep layering it in there. Now I'm going to flip it back around, take one last look at the shadows, and if it needs any more red. Yeah, I think I might make this area a little darker. This area a little darker. And then add one more layer of red, and that should be pretty good. And there it is. It looks pretty good with that red bow. White's not too bad. Well, let's move on to the label and a different style of white. See if that works. But then we got to do the honeycomb and the bee. We're going to start with our light yellow that we used on the apples. We're going to fill this bee in. Some of this light yellow. Try not to get into his eyes. And the light yellow fill in these honeycomb. Make sure you don't hit his wings either. Just keep adding the light yellow to the honeycomb until you have a good base layer in there. You just keep adding light layers till most of the white of the paper is covered. Okay, and now we'll take our dark yellow, give him some shadows. He's pretty hard to color, he's so tiny. And now for the honeycomb, what I kind of want to do is do maybe half dark yellow. Make your line right across here, pull that in. Make them a little different. I think maybe this one I'm going to color all the way in, just to keep things different. Usually as they fill up their honeycomb, it's not completely symmetrical. this one in the middle. We'll go this way. And there's the honeycomb. Let's finish up the bee with the white. Now you can see from my pencil, I have been practicing my white. So it's almost down to the nub there. So we want to put a little white in his eyes and his wings. For this white, I think I'm going to try the gray for the shadows. Put a little bit here and then put a little in his eyes. Blend that out with some more white. I think just a little bit more gray. And this is more of a kind of a medium gray. It's not real light and it's not real dark. So just grab a medium colored gray. Pull that. And there he is. So now let's do the label. White. Okay. Just start filling in with your white to give it a good base layer. We're going to continue how we did with the honeybee. We're just going to use some gray. Just some light gray here. Shadow this out here a little bit and make it not so white. Put a little around this rim here. Kind of give it a kind of a silvery look. Those silver labels you see at the farmer's market. Back with the white, and we're going to kind of try to blend this out a little bit. I'm going to add a little more gray in some areas. Over here. Yeah, this little area is hard to fill in. But I'm not going over that with the white pencil because I don't really want to smudge it. I want to keep this more sharp. Yeah, it's starting to look like a little silvery foil label. For the honey jar, we're going to use the same colors as we used in the honeycomb, which is the yellow, the dark yellow, and the orange. And we'll also add in a little bit of white and gray down here for the glass. So let's start with the yellow. What I want to do first is put maybe in a couple of bubbles in the honey. So I'm just going to map those out so I don't go over those. And then maybe one more right there. I'm going to go ahead and start adding yellow. Now let's start with dark yellow. Right in up in here, I want to try to keep it a little lighter, like the light's hitting the glass and shining through the honey. So here at the bottom, along the edges here, I'll go a little darker. Underneath the fabric here, we want some shadow. Now we are going to add our light orange. And we're just going to bump up the color a little bit. Just come in here and add some of this. Okay, let's blend this together and finish the bubbles and the base. Kind of just noticed these are kind of symmetrical, but didn't realize that while I was drawing, but it's okay. It's a practice piece. I'm not going to go out and sell it. I'm happy with it. I'm going to fill this in with white. And I'm gonna put like a little touch of gray around the bubble, kind of half the bubble, kind of to make it stand out a little bit. Take the white again, kind of blend that. Now let's finish up the base here. Now this is glass, and it's just gonna have some of the honey kind of shining through. So put a little white in there, especially here towards the bottom. Kind of Vellum the base. And more of the darker yellow. Don't go all the way to the ends here. We're gonna be adding some gray in there to make our glass. A little bit of gray. Kind of like how we did our bubbles. And there's the honey jar. It looks pretty good, and we successfully did some white. Thank you so much for joining me again, and I hope you enjoyed yourself and learned something new. If you'd like to participate in the full-length color along, visit my Patreon page and join in there. The link to my Patreon page is listed in the description box below, along with any products I used in the video. Next week we'll be covering the pomegranate, which should be fairly simple because it's similar to the technique we used in the apple. However, the seeds are very tiny, and we're going to have to get in there and figure out how to do that. So thanks again, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button to make sure you have ready access to all my upcoming videos.